It's two guys of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
It's a statements edition of the OG SKOR North podcast here. Mackey and Judd, where Judd is sitting in one of the old 1500 ESPN radio studios again today with pennants in the background.
Yeah, very comfortable here. Little Montreal Expos down there. Twins, back when the Twins were successful. Do you remember those days? You barely do. Dude. Chris Mullen, run TMC, Golden State, man. Back before they were the Golden State we know now.
Every time I turn on playoff baseball, Jorge Polanco is like having a huge performance in a Mariners uniform. I know you have a statement on that. So we'll get to our statements here. I had a travel nightmare situation happen yesterday that I'd love your thoughts on. But before we get into some Vikings-related statements here, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And I don't have B-roll for you because I accidentally put in the one with audio. So we need to get the other one. So you're going to have to go a cappella here on the MSP Plumbing.
Hold on a second then. me. Aye. Okay, here I go. This month, it's October, folks. It's getting cold, and MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they are there to ensure that your home stays warm and comfortable all season long. How do I know that? Because I have used them, and they do absolutely outstanding work. They are the experts. They're also your local Carrier dealer, delivering quality and reliability. October is the time to get your HVAC system checked. Why? Because the cold is going to hit. Why? Because you can schedule a tune-up now that's going to prevent unexpected breakdowns during the peak of winter when things can get more expensive. When you choose Carrier, what you're doing is you're investing in a system that keeps your home comfortable and also saves you cash on those bills that you are trying to avoid. So check out their website, callmsp.com, or give them a call, 651-615-4292, to learn more about their outstanding services and also Carrier products. It is a winning combination between MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air and Carrier.
First statement. Well, there's a couple different ways I could go with this, but I'll frame it this way. Brian Flores should be one of the hottest head coaching candidates in the next hiring cycle in January and February. A few different things. For one, I mean, I know he had the big falling out with Miami that resulted in him suing the NFL owners, and that's been progressing. I think there was just a ruling on that a couple weeks ago that he is allowed to progress to the next step in that lawsuit, but it's been like 4 years or something. Because it's been 3 years as a coordinator here. He spent a year with Tomlin in 2022. I think his last year as head coach in Miami was 2021. So it's been this long process, and it feels like it's been he did get a couple of interviews a couple of years ago. But here's the thing. So B-Flow actually did a really good job, wins and losses wise, with a Dolphins franchise that was and continues to be a disaster. So he kind of won in the face of headwinds that would make it hard to win games. And he had a couple really competitive seasons, built a top 5 defense there by the end. But again, with the Vikings, he is, with some injuries, he's putting together another top 5-ish defense. Last year, they were like 5th in scoring defense. This year, they're 5th in scoring defense again, under 20 points a game. It is the driving force for why the Vikings are 3-2 in their first 5 games with just ridiculous amounts of injuries. 2 other factors. One, he was ostracized for the way he treated Tua Tagovailoa. That he was too hard on him. He was too mean to him. He called Tua, for lack of a better word or phrase, soft to his face. Tua basically said, yeah, I don't have any respect for him. He treated me like garbage, and I'm going to air it out publicly. Well, now Tua, after a couple years, if he's on the field, which, not to make light of a guy's concussion issues, but like he's had a hard time staying on the field. But he's out there yesterday ripping his Dolphins head coach again, talking about how it starts with leadership and helping to articulate for the guys and what we're expecting out of guys, right? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late or not showing up to player-only meetings. Bro, player-only meetings are not run by the coaches. In fact, I would think the leader of a player-only meeting would be you, my man, the leader of the team and the players. They're not coming to players-only meetings. Where's the leadership? You're the starting quarterback that makes like $55 million a year, guy. What are you doing? Throwing the coach under the bus?
Yeah.
There was oh, go ahead.
Did you ask Boone and Searles about this? How many? Here's my question. How many players-only meetings are you having? Like they're to be called for special occasions when the bleep is hitting the fan. He made it sound like, yeah, we do this all the time. Like, is this something we don't know about? The last time I checked, the coaches call them. Like you have your individual, right? Your position group meetings. You have your team meetings. But he makes it sound like they're calling these player-only come to Jesuses all the time, and guys aren't showing up.
Yeah, it's all bad. Yeah, from Boone and Searles on the O-line committee, we did talk about this. The Tua stuff yesterday. Basically, if you're calling players only meetings, especially early in the season, you're bleeped anyways. It's just not, it's chaos. It's disorganization. I wouldn't show up. There was a former Dolphin who retweeted the Tua quotes, and he basically said, I was only there for a brief amount of time, but my very first offensive meeting, Tua was late to. So, and on top of all of these other layers, so if it wasn't obvious, I'm telling you, Brian Flores was right about Tua. Maybe he didn't handle it the right way. Maybe he was mean, maybe all these things, but he sniffed out kind of a wishy-washy leader and maybe a guy that wasn't the toughest quarterback around. And he kind of called him on it. But if you look around the NFL right now, defensive coaches are having their day, man. Like, Vrabel with the Patriots, they're leading that division. I mean, Sean McDermott, defensive guy, has had Buffalo as one of the best teams in the league for a number of years. Mike Tomlin's been there for almost 20 years, doing his thing as a defensive-minded coach. I know the Texans got off to a slow start, but they've won 2 games in a row, have the best defense in the league with DeMeco Ryans, defensive-minded guy. So there's more examples, too, in the NFC that I could point to. There's Todd Bowles with the Buccaneers, defensive-minded guy. So there's a bunch of defensive-minded coaches if you get them with the right offensive staff and maybe an established quarterback. So all of this is, to me, a stew for why Brian Flores deserves and I think will be a hot head coaching candidate coming up here in a few months.
Interesting. Yeah, I still go back to, I think the lawsuit has to be done. I don't think a team is going to have the guts to hire a guy who's actively suing the league, but I think Brian Flores deserves the chance. And look, if he can get the right infrastructure and i.e. the right offensive coordinator, I think he's fine probably. But in the meantime, it will be interesting to see. It's funny because the lawsuit is still ongoing, partially because he continues to win various rulings by judges, which is, I guess, good for him. But I also think it hurts him because as long as it's over the league's head, I don't know that the owners have the cojones. I don't know that one is going to break off and hire him. And furthermore, this does reek of, and again, this would not be legal, but it reeks of collusion. It really does.
Yeah, and I think I'd have to brush up on a lot of the details of the lawsuit. I know that it was rooted in him flagging racist processes or like an inherent bias in the way that they hire and profile coaches. Yep. But I think, just my own opinion, I think it's more an issue with the Miami Dolphins are one of the 5 worst run teams in the in the league. They have an owner who constantly is impatient, incompetent, and stepping outside the lines of what's acceptable in the league. He was trying to woo Tom Brady when Tom Brady was still a Patriot, all these things. Mm-hmm. So if you could get Flores with an organization that's just a little bit more stable and has better infrastructure, then I think it could work. Now, the problem is I've been pushing him to the Bengals, and I don't know that the Bengals are that organization either, but they've got the right quarterback fit, and they need a defensive fix. Right. So we'll see. And I think he's probably learned from some of the things he would do differently if given a second chance. But there's some guys that get second chances that have far less credibility than Brian Flores as a coach over the past 10 to 15 years.
I think he needs to do the reverse O'Connell if he gets a job. I think he needs to find an offensive guy and say, it's your show, buddy boy. I'll talk to you sometimes. We'll talk about it, but I'm not going to be hands-on on a daily basis because That's where I think you run into problems because defensive guys don't necessarily, with every quarterback, probably agree with how they operate. And like so, Bowles and Baker, I think, are a really good tandem because Baker's matured so much, and Baker sort of has some defensive mentality dog to him.
Yeah.
Like clearly Tua, not even close, right? But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this plays out. Because I do think once the lawsuit is settled, I think you're going to see him get a chance.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. What do you got?
I've got this, and it sort of goes to the Tua thing as well. And I guess it started with Flores because Tua was drafted in 2020. But my statement is the utter incompetence of the lower echelon, or at least at times National Football League teams, is absolutely incredible. And it's a cycle that feeds itself, and it's as predictable as possible, and it's also so very destructive. So a tweet that they're talking about today on ESPN's various shows from Adam Schefter this morning. The last 4 quarterbacks taken number 1 overall have seen their head coach fired during their rookie season. So not after a couple of years, during their rookie season. The 4 are 2021, Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. We have what appeared to be a generational QB, and we hire Urban Meyer to work with him.
Yeah.
And Urban Meyer is a complete joke. The whole thing, as far as him coaching in the National Football League, was not vetted well. It was not well thought out. And he, in fact, is fired during his first season because at one point, I believe he didn't accompany the team back on a trip from a game against the Bengals because he stayed home, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
2023. Carolina Panthers draft Bryce Young. All right, young man, you're going to come in here and you are going to save us. And you know what stability we're going to give you? We're going to give you an offensive-minded coach. That's right, the veteran, Frank Reich. Frank, you and Bryce are our future. Frank Reich gets fired during the season. Last year, the Bears, Caleb Williams, in what has turned out to be a really great QB class, right? Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, will wait and see. Michael Penix beat the Bills last night. And here's where the Bears are culpable of stupidity. They draft this surefire number 1 pick, who's a bit of a, what's the word, mercurial guy, okay? Mm-hmm. And they give him defensive-minded and also, not very good head coach, Matt Eberflus. And Matt, you are going to be Caleb's coach. Does not work. And then as of yesterday, same thing again. Offensive-minded guy coming off a rough year, Brian Callahan. But you know what Brian Callahan needs, Phil Mackey? He needs a quarterback. Yeah. And number 1 overall out of Miami, we're going to take Cam Ward. And you two are going to take us to the zenith, to the heights.
So dumb.
And he gets fired. So basically what you've done is you have taken 4 young, promising QBs who should be given time, but in each case, they are the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And you pair them with coaches, the last 4 who get fired. You tell me that is not as destructive a thing as you can do to an employee, and a valuable one as possible.
It's also, it is hilarious how terribly a lot of these organizations go about hiring the wrong coach. And how impatient they are.
Yes.
So, and some of it's just like, it's an impatient business with fans and media and all the money being poured in. And it's a league that kind of cannibalizes itself as there's 32 teams. All of them are fighting tooth and nail. It's like a socialist structure where the worst teams are getting access to the best. You're trying to make it even for everyone. You get the highest draft picks, whatever. So, I get why, hey, if something doesn't click right away, what do you mean? We had a bunch of cap space. We spent money on free agents over here. We drafted some talented players near the top of the draft. Why are we not winning yet? I understand the impatience. But how do you thoroughly vet a coach through a hiring process? And then 7 different times a year, those coaches are getting fired 2 or 3 years or less into their tenures. And then we're going to try again and find it. It's all just so random. But I agree with your general point, which is if you've got a coach that you're kind of growing impatient with, if your solution to that is to draft a quarterback in the top 5, you should either be committing to like at least 2 more years of partnership with that coach and quarterback so that you can at least give it a good faith effort, or just fire the coach and start over and pair someone together on the same timeline, right? It's so weird, this trend that you've outlined keeps happening in the NFL.
The quarterback police are on. I can hear them. They're on the way. They're coming to arrest these teams. And yeah, like, how do the Bears? You had to have an inkling that you messed up and Eberflus was not going to be the guy. He's a defensive guy. You're going to draft this. You're going to draft a kid that has. He's not your normal QB necessarily, but he's also incredibly promising. And you just sort of are like, whatever.
Yeah.
So like JJ McCarthy at the end of the day might fail, but I don't think we're going to say, well, he was failed by his coach or his team. Like JJ McCarthy failed because Kevin O'Connell didn't know what he was doing. We're not going to say that, right? I'm going through cases where, like, how much was Trevor Lawrence's career arc impacted? Because I mean, he's a starter still. But he's not what I thought. But like, when your initial experience at a fairly young age is that bad, and you are not developed, you're not cultivated at all. Like, you should be pouring every resource possible if you're going to take a kid number 1, right? Or heck, first round, pouring every resource possible into making sure that he maximizes himself. And these teams are basically like, you know what? Didn't work out, too bad. And now it's like, okay, kid, Cam Ward, you go work with Mike McCoy, who was Chargers coach years ago. He's going to, okay, no, it's not going to, no, it's a bad idea.
It's like, if you could, with Cam Ward or your Trevor Lawrence example, if you could have an alternate universe where, all right, Trevor Lawrence gets drafted by the San Francisco 49ers 5 years ago or whenever he was drafted, and he gets to work with Kyle Shanahan and Trent Williams at left tackle and these weapons all over the place.
Right.
I think instead of him being the 17th best quarterback in the league and people looking at him like, hey, he's kind of a bust, I don't know what's going on there, he'd probably be like the 5th or 6th best quarterback in the league by now. Just like Sam Darnold finally has become after getting out of bad infrastructure with the Jets and what have you.
Yep.
I would, it's funny, like Justin Fields winds up being a bust that takes 9 sacks either way, but that dude never had a shot either. He has been with the Steelers haven't, outside of Big Ben, it's not like the Steelers have been this factory for pumping out great quarterbacks either, but he was Bears, no shot, one of the worst quarterback development franchises in the history of the NFL. 1 year with the Steelers where he got kind of hurt and they immediately went to Russell Wilson. It's kind of a lost year.
Yep.
And they're not great at developing quarterbacks. And then you go to the Jets, which might be one of the 2 or 3 only teams worse than the Bears at developing quarterbacks, with a defensive-minded first-time head coach. Yeah. I'd love to see a redo and he's too far gone and broken at this point. I'd love to see Justin Fields, a redo where, okay, he gets drafted by the Rams or the Vikings or somebody that is pouring actual energy and resources into developing quarterbacks.
And the problem too for him, because I do agree, it looks like he's beyond repair, but the problem as well is, if anybody, like after Chicago, if he could have gone to a quarterback friendly team and just sat and learned, and I don't know that the Steelers qualify as that, any had to start regardless, but like the Darnold year in San Francisco, or heck, the Jones time here, clearly is impactful, right? Because there's the pressure's not there, and you could sort of take a step back. It feels, no pun intended, like Fields has just stepped into bouncing around. Yeah. So he's a journeyman at this point.
Yeah. Yep. It's and I'm sure if we could, it'd be a fun episode to come up with like the guys that just got screwed by incompetent organizational quarterback developments, and never pulled themselves out of it like a Baker. I do have a nightmare travel story for you here in a moment after we shout out our favorite pizza on this show. That would be Green Mill Restaurant Pizza. Green Mill Pizza is now available, that iconic Green Mill restaurant brand. You can get the tavern-style pizza inside your local grocery store now. Hand-tossed pepperoni, meat lovers, extreme supreme, unique recipes, premium ingredients, restaurant-quality flavor. baked in your kitchen via the grocery store. You can also find soft breadsticks and sauces from Green Mill at your local grocer. Find out more at greenmillfoods.com. And maybe you'll have some pizza stuck in your teeth. What do I do? Well, you book an appointment at Park Dental. That's what you do.
Hey, floss me.
Yeah. I just ate a whole Green Mill pizza and I have not brushed my teeth. Can you help me? Well, you can just brush your teeth. Or you can make an appointment at Park Dental. 50 years of caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. And there's pretty likely a Park Dental location within minutes of wherever you live or work in the metro area. There's a bunch of different locations. I had my once every 6 months checkup a couple weeks ago. It went great. So if you're interested in finding a new or better dentist, or if it's just been a minute, they won't shame you. You can make an appointment at parkdental.com. That's parkdental.com. All right, travel story for you here. Mm-hmm. We love our travel nightmare stories. I did tell the guys on the O-line committee this yesterday. So my grandfather played football at Notre Dame back in the late 20s under Newt Rockne, and he fought in World War II. He was drafted to fight over in Europe in the early 1940s. He lived kind of a crazy life in a lot of ways. And so he died like 16 years before I was born, so I never got to meet him. But our family has kept these like trinkets and heirlooms from his time as an athlete, as a fighter in World War II. And I have like a couple boxes of just stuff, memorabilia from him. And I've had he had two World War II dog tags, like the little, military dog tag that you wear around a necklace.
Sure.
And so I've had two of those. I started wearing one of them maybe like 16, 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was covering the Minnesota Twins beat as a beat writer for when we launched 1500 ESPN, ESPNTwinCities.com. And I was at the Cleveland airport covering a Twins-Indians game at the time. And I remember like the TSA agent had me like, hey, take off, that sweatshirt. And then like, if that's a necklace, and then throw it in the bin as it goes through. And sure enough, the bin, this is back in like 2011, the bin goes through, and I don't know like how this happens in there, but my necklace like was gone. It just was it. And like my sweatshirt had kind of fallen out into a different bin. So I don't know if it's like the little flaps that kind of your stuff gets moved around if it's loose. Never found it. The dog tag, 2011. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost one of his World War II dog tags, but good thing I have a second one. Right. So I started wearing the second one almost 15 years ago, and I've worn that second one literally around my neck almost every day for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And I get to SFO, the airport that Alex Boone built in San Francisco, and I'm going through the TSA line. And they're having you don't have to take your shoes off now. It's great. You can just leave your shoes on. It's a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. So I got my roller bag, my backpack, and he kind of points at me and he said, hey, your hat, your sweatshirt, and then if that's like a necklace, sometimes I'll just wear it through, and if they need to like scan it, they can scan it. Right. But he kind of pointed like hey, take your hat, your sweatshirt, and so I'm like, okay. I left my sweatshirt on because I wasn't wearing an undershirt. So I just had my hat, took my hat off, and put my necklace in a bin as it was going through kind of last second.
Right.
And I get through to the other side, and my computer was also in that bin. Okay. And the bin comes back, so it's supposed to be computer, hat, necklace in that bin. Right. The bin comes through, and my computer is in it. Nothing else. My hat is upside down in another woman's bin, like next to her purse. Behind it. So again, I don't know, like you throw these things in and it goes through the conveyor belt, do like the little plastic flaps, like shuffle. I'm sure, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. And then of course her bag gets flagged to be like searched. So now my hat is sitting face down in her bin. And so now you're waiting like 5 minutes. And we both have to explain, okay, she's like, that's my bag, but that's his hat. And I said, that is my hat. There should also be a necklace in there somewhere because it wasn't in the bin that it originally was in, and nowhere to be found. So he hands me my hat. There's nothing else in the bin. Her purse was like kind of close. I don't think it would have fallen in her purse.
Right.
But I sat there and he kind of kind of shoos me along, and I said, no, like I have it's literally a World War II dog tag necklace that's in that bin. Where is it? Did it fall out? Can you please go check? Can you check underneath? Like, can you please check? And he kind of walks over there, and he gives a half-hearted effort and comes back. And I said, dude, I know you're busy right now. That is literally an 80-year-old World War II dog tag, and it's gone. And I didn't. So it either fell out or someone, as you were moving stuff around, can you please go back and check? And he kind of half-heartedly checked again. Didn't find anything, and then directed me to like his boss, who then gave me a number to call or something. So I was left to leave a voicemail with, they have like a number that you can call. I'm still waiting to hear back, but I'm just sitting here like, how I hate TSA. I understand that they like have a job and it's very important and they keep us protected and stuff. But I lost those dog tags the same way, both of them at TSA at the airport in 2011 and then this weekend, 2025.
Wow.
80-year-old World War II dog tags. That you could argue maybe, Phil, you probably shouldn't be wearing something that's that rare and whatever, but here we are. So that was my travel nightmare story.
But if you don't have to take off your shoes, why do you have to take off a necklace? I mean, that's not like a huge
I think it's
chain.
50-50. I think like you can go through. I usually go through with it, but because he kind of pointed it out, I was like, all right, I'm not blaming him. He's just doing his job.
Right. No, I'm just surprised that they can't. Because now, did you go through a normal like thing that you walk through, or if you're doing that, you shouldn't have to take that off.
Yeah,
that scanning thing's like that. That looks at everything.
Yeah. So I
sucks.
obviously like if I've replayed it, like if I could go back, I would just never take it off. Just always keep it on, and if they want to like pat you down or something, they can.
That's ridiculous.
So I'm hoping someone calls me. I'm hoping it just kind of fell through the cracks down there, and it's someone threw it and lost.
Like inside the conveyor belt or something.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be. I'm sure it happens to other people.
I guess when your hat, it sounds like your hat tipped, so it probably fell out of your hat.
Yeah.
Inside the scanning zone.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't be the only person that loses like jewelry, necklace, or something.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Well, we always love a good travel nightmare story on Mackey and Judd. I know you have a Jorge.
Yeah.
I know you have a Jorge Polanco thing, but we do have to go, so maybe we can do a twin show this week and talk about Jorge.
Oh,
Polanco.
okay. Absolutely. Yep. You know what? No, I hope they find it though. I mean, that's hard to. I mean, it's not like you can go to the jewelry store and get a dog tag or what. You can't just go to a dog tag place.
And it's tough. You can't really like go off on someone because they're all, it's just a conveyor belt of people, and it wasn't like one person's. Well, that too, but like,
what are you people doing there?
Someone like,
what are you people doing? Oh, you're under arrest. What?
He's the sports dad. I am disgruntled Phil, and this is the OG SKOR North podcast, Mackey and Judd. See you guys.